Hi. Hi, Angela. Hi. Or I'm
Hi.
sorry. Hey, B.
It's me, B. Arthur.
Well, isn't that fun though? Like that was my nickname when I was little, just for the way my voice
Right.
sounds in general. And
Yeah.
so it's nice to have a fellow B. Arthur up in the mix today. And I know it's because I know you have a cold.
Yes,
And
I do.
regardless of whatever y'all say, weather does not help. This is going to keep everybody getting sick with this weather.
Well,
Up, down, ice, snow, sun.
I'll tell you what is making my situation like this is that I teach children, and so
Oh, you get
every
like daycare crud.
every week, I mean, and they're not like
Excuse me.
they're not like daycare age, but
But there's
you know,
you get
but they're
school
school
crud.
age, yes, and
Woof. No
so
wonder.
yeah, and
Oh,
so
and
I
that's like
had
a
a
whole different type of sickness. Like when Isabel got
yeah,
me sick once, it took me out. It is a
yeah.
different form of crud and it
It
lingers.
it's called cooties is what it's called.
Ew, I hate that word, but yes,
Yeah.
cooties.
Cooties is up there
Well,
with the B word that you don't like.
oh, stop it. Don't. I've already gagged once today.
Sorry, I won't say it.
I mean, I
Everybody,
brushed my teeth way too hard.
if
And
you
it's
guys
it
don't know what
sounds
the
like,
B word is that Natalie doesn't like, it sounds like ooger.
okay,
It
we
starts with a
got it.
B.
All right. I know you're sick, but anyway. Um, anyway, today, Angela, we are talking
Yes.
about one of my absolute favorite movies in the entire world. It's definitely top 5. It might be, I think it's number, oh, I see. It's got Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and then we got The Burbs and Seven, and I think, and then this is
This is up
today.
there in the top 10,
Today, podcast listener, we are welcome to put your books down. Um, we are going to talk about Overboard,
which I can't believe we have not.
1987. Overboard. Well, we've made so many references to this movie. It's just like part of my daily life. Like
Yeah.
this movie is actually literally one of the funniest movies ever made. And it's just
It's
like one of the best vibe, heartwarming, hilarious, visually pleasing, fun adventure movies ever. I
I was
love
just
this
letting you
movie
go.
so much, and it's starring my favorite couple, Hollywood couple ever that
Yeah.
I have like major couple goals, Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Yes.
This movie was directed by Gary Marshall, who also did like Pretty Woman, and he's obviously was good at movies.
Penny
Um,
Marshall's brother, Laverne's
oh,
brother.
okay,
You
cool.
didn't know that?
I probably did. Anyway, I didn't. So, okay, we're talking about Overboard today, and we don't need to go through the plot. And
No.
here's something else. Here's a heads up. If you are someone that
In your
doesn't
life.
love this movie, like really, really love it, like it's so good. It's so well done. I quote it almost every day in some way, shape, or form. But this is like one of those movies that if you know me and you don't love this movie, we don't need to move forward. We can
In
just,
life.
I wish you well,
Right, go with God.
but we're never gonna connect. It's just like I have like everybody has um standards
Yeah,
for people in
right.
their lives,
Boundaries. Gotta have
boundaries.
boundaries.
Yeah,
Yep,
and this is a
boundaries.
massive boundary for me. If you don't love Overboard, and I'm not talking about this new one that I turned off,
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
no,
love Anna
mm-mm.
Faris, but if you don't love this
No, I
movie,
don't. I don't love Anna Faris.
I do.
I heard
She's
her on an
hysterical.
interview. She was weird.
Oh, I like her in movies, but I
Ugh,
love all those
yeah.
scary movies. I just think she's really
Oh,
funny.
yeah,
But anyway,
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so anywho, regardless of how Angela sounds, she would normally be as excited and upbeat about this topic as I am. So I'm just going to carry the weight of that. And okay, so Angela,
Yes,
I guess I need to
Natalie.
ask you. I just
Yes.
assume.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this movie, Overboard?
Well, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh Lord.
100% honest.
Okay.
I did not grow up loving this movie only because it was not on my radar that much for some
Right.
reason,
Yeah.
which I didn't realize why. Why was this movie not on my radar? I don't
I
was
don't
it not a
know.
hit in the day? Like, when did
I
this come out? 89?
87.
87?
Yeah.
So, okay, I think when this came out, I think I was so firmly ensconced in church dances in 1987 and I was 14. I think I didn't get it. And I was like, those are just a bunch of brats and they're just acting like little craps to their adults. And I didn't understand the irony of Goldie Hawn and I didn't understand her motivations. Let me finish. And I think I was 14 and I
Oh, I'm
didn't
sorry. I
get
feel
it.
like no, that's you know what? That dog won't hunt. I am buying that. You know what
Why?
I think it
I
was?
don't what?
You know what I think it was? I
What?
think you were too cool for it. I think you were way too into Pretty in Pink. You were way too into your
Oh,
John Hughes movies,
you
your
know
Breakfast
what?
Club.
You know what?
Overboard was like not deep enough for you.
I
And
think you
you
might
were
be right.
way into your clothes
Um,
and you were way into
um,
your accessories
you know what?
and wearing all the multiples. And you just couldn't be bothered with this piece
Quirky
of
little
art, cinematic gold. You couldn't be bothered.
it was just this quirky
Meanwhile,
little
I
thing.
watched it when it came out. I mean, the first time I saw it, I mean, we watched it as a family and we were all dying. And I'm
It
like,
it's
I
too
was
cute.
4. It's
It's like one of those
so good.
movies it's like it's a very cute movie too. Like, it's
But
so
it's also
I
really funny. Like
it's
the older
funny.
you get, the funnier it
Yes,
is.
it's funnier
The
now for me
more
for
you watch
sure.
it, the more quotes
Yes,
you take from it.
for
And
sure.
also like so Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn are together in real life. And they were already together when they filmed this movie and they had already had a child together. And the kids were
I
like
thought you were
running
gonna
all over
say
the set.
they'd already had sex together. I'm like, "Wait, what?" Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Clearly they had.
Are you drinking a hot toddy? I hope.
No, it's
Oh,
early. I'm drinking coffee still.
well, you're not
I
going to work
know.
today. Anyway,
Well,
so
I don't know if I'm going to work today. I had to call my students and be like,
well,
"Hey,
you don't need to pass the torch.
well," and I
Don't
think
be
that
a hero.
they passed the torch to me, and then
Yeah, well,
I
don't.
don't wanna pass it back, and
Yeah,
then it's
just
like
don't
it
be a
doesn't need to be
hero.
a relay race of
Right, you
cooties.
got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this like set was like like heard to be super fun. The movie was wildly improvised by Kurt
Oh,
Russell
yeah.
and Goldie Hawn,
So
and like
good.
Gary Marshall said that Kurt Russell is a really good improviser. Like they took all of his stuff.
Oh, I love it.
And also, so the beginning of this movie, the version, there's 2 Goldie Hawns in this movie, as we know. There's the rich yacht, as Kurt Russell is, rich bitch. And she is such
Joanna.
an asshole. Joanna, she's such an asshole. And
She's
but
such
I
an
have to tell
asshole.
you, her beginning self before she has her ocean lobotomy
Yeah.
from falling overboard, um, is like my inner dream self, like
Oh.
talking like it's like the way I think in my head, like how I respond to people, like where she says things like to this carpenter, Kurt Russell, this carpenter on their boat building this like shoe closet. She's bored. She has more money than God. I mean, it's insane. Her outfits are insane. They're amazing. This character version is what I wish my inner self was. Like I think like this to people when they're talking and like in situations in life, like sometimes I think about this with like, children around. I'm like, try not to touch anything. Like the things that she says to Kurt Russell because she thinks
Wait,
he's this like honky
are
tonk.
are you, like, openly admitting that your inner self is really bitchy like that?
I think I don't know if it
Are
is, but
you
I want it to be. I want to be an inner asshole.
you wanna
Wait,
be like an inner
like
bitch?
in my
You
and then
wanna
she's
be
like,
in
"Don't
her
stand so
asshole?
close.
What did you just say?
Don't stand so close to me." Like I'm just saying, like I have these thoughts, but she says them out loud to
You're
people,
admitting she says the out loud part. She says
and
the
she's like,
inside part
"Well,
out loud.
I
Yeah.
almost had to wait when
Yeah.
her butler brings her caviar." And I except for the way she treats like staff, okay, and like
Yeah.
servers, I would never.
Yeah.
That's no inner. There's no part
That's
of me
where
like
I
that.
was wondering about that, like,
No, I don't ever want to. I'm just saying, like, when I'm like, if you're in a bad mood and you're around
yeah.
your like niece and nephew that you love with all your heart, but you're in a mood in my head, I'm like, try not to touch anything. I mean,
Right.
it's just like this inner
So,
asshole
she doesn't
that I
have
want him
she
that I want to
well,
be.
she's an asshole. I think that just makes you an asshole, not you, but her. She's
She's
just
an
an asshole.
asshole. Yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah.
just an asshole. I
A
mean, the whole
gorgeous,
thing the
well
thing
styled. Go ahead.
yeah, the thing that makes people not assholes is that they have that thought, but they don't say it.
Right.
That's what makes you not an asshole. We're all human, okay? So we
Sure, but
all
she's like
are
funny about it.
not really.
And my
If
inner self wants to wear those robes and have all that money and wear my hair like that and wear those sunglasses and wear bathing suits like
oh,
that and
those sunglasses. I
and
do want
just
those
I want
sunglasses.
I want all of it. And then
Mm.
like when he's like, "May I put your jewelry back on, madam?" When the butler's like doing her pedicure and she said, "No, I'm still tacky." Like I want to be. My inner self is like, no,
Natalie,
I'm
I
still
don't
tacky.
I don't want you to be that person. I'm glad you're not
I'm
that
not on
person.
the
Okay.
outside. I'm just
I
saying
know.
goals for the inside as I age. By the way, guess
Yes.
how old she was in this movie? They say that she's 29, but she was my age when
Yeah,
she filmed this.
Goldie, she's looks great.
I know.
She's
I mean, I
timeless
don't know if
woman.
they were doing laser back then, but she
They
looks
weren't. And
amazing.
you know
And
she's a chain smoker, so, she was just
yeah,
lucky to
well,
have good genes for a while.
well,
Sorry, I
it
sound like B.
works.
Arthur. I
It
am not
works
one to
for her.
talk.
He
All right.
smokes too, and it works for them. Anyway,
All right.
um, so with this movie, as after we've already talked about Goldie Hawn and her hair
Yes.
and her clothes in the intro, let's talk about Kurt Russell's hair.
Okay. That hair has its own mind.
It's magic.
It needs to have its own home. It
It
needs to
has a
have
wand because it is
it
magic. It is like a magical hairdo. It's
it need
I mean, Scott is kind of like his hair is so like could do that, and like we're like 3 inches away from that from being
are
able to style it that way if he let it grow in the back just a little bit more.
oh, yeah.
I don't think he's
Well,
open to that, but
I mean, I don't he if Scott had that hair, he could be on the set of, like, Grey's Anatomy.
I
I mean,
know. Well,
it's
He has Grey's Anatomy hair.
I know, but
He
it's
has
like
like the Dr. Dreamy type hair.
yeah,
It's
right.
ridiculous. But
Yeah, he's got a
I
full head of hair, that one.
I mean, I
Scott
know.
got the good hair.
He
Got the
does.
good hair.
Scott with the good hair.
He got
But
the
Kurt
good
Russell's
hair.
hair in this movie is wonderful.
Yeah.
And
But he's also kinda down to his id because he's working for this woman who is just this a-hole,
yeah.
and he's kinda like, "I'd like to stick it to her," because she deserves it, frankly,
Well,
because he's
she
worked her
wasn't
to the
gonna
bone,
yeah, he
him
worked
to the
really hard on this
bone.
closet. It's not made out of cedar, it's made out of oak. She wants him to
Yeah.
redo it. He's like, "Okay,
Yes.
fine, but you have to pay me," and she's not gonna
Yes.
do it.
Right.
And then she pushes him
Everyone knows
overboard.
closets are made out of cedar.
Right. Well, I don't
What an
know, and he
a-hole.
yeah, I mean, she was a dick. But
Come
like
on.
also, she pushes him overboard, throws out his tools, so
Ugh.
which is his livelihood. He's a carpenter. So he's super pissed.
Mhm.
He is owed money.
Mhm.
Cut to she falls off overboard,
And what
ends
she
up
falls
in
off
this
because she's trying to because her
find her
ring
ring, her big,
because her
huge diamond
ring
ring.
falls off, her big gigantic diamond ring falls off, and she's trying to get it, and she
Yeah,
goes a little too far and
she
flies
falls off.
off
Yeah, and then she ends up
in the
in
middle of the night, and her husband, who doesn't wanna listen to her shit anymore, is, like, watching television and turning the TV up as she's yelping and screaming, and then, like, Roddy McDowell, who's her butler, is also just like, "I'm just gonna put my headphones on tonight and just enjoy the peace of not being yelled at and nagged
right.
at by this hoe bag."
I guess that's a
So,
lesson, if you
that's a
aren't nice to
lesson.
people, they're not gonna when you get fall
Correct.
overboard, you're gonna
That's
float
right.
away, but survive, end up
Mm.
some town that you don't, and you're gonna wake up and not remember who you are.
Yep. So
So you
you
don't want to do
better
that.
watch out, people.
Yeah.
Let this be a lesson to you.
But okay, so some of the funniest stuff though is when she's just come out of this like she wakes up, she has no idea who she is. She's in this
She has no
hospital. She's on the news. Everyone's like, "Who? Someone come claim this woman because she's horrible."
Nobody
And the
wants to
doctor, I
claim
mean,
her.
the news lady was like, "Ma'am, do you really not know who you are? Do you know your name?" She's like, "Of course I know my name." And then she's like, looks at this woman in the microphone. She's like, "Ugh, get that out of my face!" And like
she
pushes this woman away. She's like,
she
"Oh,
still has
horrible wig." I mean,
she
and this
still
like news lady's like,
she still has she
she's still
still
an
has
asshole.
the attitude.
Yeah, she has not been
She just
humbled yet.
she just doesn't know who she is, but she
Right.
still
And
has
she's
the
throwing
attitude.
things and she yells at this old woman and she's like, in this, semi private room, you
Yeah.
snore.
Yeah.
And so she's still mean. And then Kurt Russell comes and, cooks up this scheme. He's going to
Yes,
get her, he's
because
going to make his money back by putting her to work.
before we get any further with this, we have to make the point that at one point when he was working for her, she was wearing her extremely skimpy bathing suit, and she bent over to get something, and he sees that she has this gigantic what on her
Birthmark.
rear? Birthmark on her rear.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
how he gets to well, they were ready to
So then
give her to him anyway. Cause they were like,
so then he goes in to claim her
yeah,
and say he knows who she is,
it's his wife.
and
He's saying it's his
he's
wife.
saying it's his wife and the mother of his children, and then tell them what happens.
And she's
They
like,
say,
and she's like, you have no documentation, you have no proof that I don't know who you are. And the doctor's like, well, he's a nice guy. And the cop's like, and he seems to like you, like whatever. Like they're really just trying to get rid of him. And then they're like, no, we need proof. And so he tells the doctor and the cop, she's got this birthmark. So she goes and checks, and she's like, oh shit. Because you can't argue. I mean, like, how would she argue that? She's like, okay, so this is my husband.
Let me ask you this. How come, like, when we're at, like, the airport or whatever, and they're trying to take my ID, how come I can't just, like, show them my birthmark on my ass?
Because they've never seen it. They've never seen it before.
I know, but maybe that could be a new identifying feature,
Mooning?
If you don't have your ID or something.
You can just moon?
You could just moon somebody and then be like, look, see, I have this birthmark on my ass. I think it's, I mean.
I think I don't hate it, but it also sounds. I mean, think of how close those lines are with other people.
Think of how many butts you would be seeing in line in the TSA pre-check.
People like to prepare. Like people take their shoes off early in the line.
Yes.
So I mean, people might be like standing in line with their pants down. I just feel like it's a slippery slope. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just like you're gonna be standing in line with people with their pants down to their ankles, just waiting to go through security.
Yeah,
and I'm not. Listen,
I'm fine with that.
I support mooning. I think mooning is hilarious, but I don't want to be in line with people with a bunch of their pants at their ankles, shuffling through the lines. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But I see your point.
Maybe tops. I don't know. There could be.
I don't want all that. So why all the skin? Just get an ID card. Just get an ID card.
You're the one who loves Overboard, okay? I'm just trying to see if
you love Overboard. I mean, when she gets home and she meets these kids and they're all in the scheme, and one of the little boys loves Pee Wee Herman, which was like I think when I was little was a huge part for me with this movie. It was like all the Pee Wee Herman references.
We have to talk. We gotta slow it down. So he gets her home.
Well,
he has all these
people know
kids. Okay, but some people may not have watched this. Let's talk about this Pee Wee Herman child, though. Let's see what happens.
A falsetto child?
That's what she says.
Yeah.
So he starts talking to her. He's introducing all the kids to her, and he's telling her these are my kids, and then
your kids.
These are your kids.
Yeah.
These are your kids, lady.
Yeah.
And she says, and he goes,
hi, my name's Joe. And he's like, oh, she's like, a falsetto child? He's like, no, he's just obsessed with Pee Wee Herman.
What is this kid who's obsessed with Pee Wee Herman?
Hi, you're looking at it.
Do we think he has some sort of trauma? Maybe he has trauma.
I was just the same way.
Now, where's the original mother? Did she die?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the original mother has died. So these children are traumatized.
Sure, but the Pee Wee Herman thing has nothing to do with childhood trauma.
I think it's dissociation. I think this child is dissociating.
Thing. I mean, I guess, sure, but I didn't think that Pee Wee thing could go that way with this. I was like, this is what really hook, line, and sinkered me in, was like all the Pee Wee stuff.
Yeah,
because I used to talk like Pee Wee when I was a little obvi. But I was not a falsetto child.
Excuse me. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
I'm a little out of left center here today.
I'm trying to carry the weight.
I know.
So anyway, I also feel like this movie, the theme song to this movie is "Jim Dandy to the rescue." Like the whole movie is "Go Jim Dandy, go Jim Dandy." I mean, it's like 8 different times you hear "Jim Dandy to the rescue."
I know.
It's the montage where she's learning how to like cook, clean.
Oh
Jim
my God.
Dandy to the rescue. I mean, it's like all throughout the movie. And then even when they go dancing, like Jim Dandy. I mean, it's all Jim Dandy. I mean, this movie could be Overboard. It could say, this movie could also be called Overboard with Jim Dandy to the rescue. I mean,
Yes. I think Jim Dandy to the rescue should be like the parenthetical name of this movie.
Yeah.
Overboard, quote,
with
parentheses, Jim Dandy to the rescue.
Yeah. I mean, because Jim Dandy to the rescue is...
I didn't realize until I watched it this time how much that song really
so
does
much
come
Jim
back.
Dandy.
And also, what is that song?
About it.
Yeah, I don't even know that. Did you know that? Is that made for this movie? That song?
I don't know.
Or is
I
that
don't
an
know.
old song? Something for us to ponder.
But it's just like that's what's used. And they have the montages in this movie with
Oh,
her like adjusting to her
so good.
chores, and
I
she's
know.
working off the money that she owes Dean Kurt Russell for all the work he did for her and the tools.
Yes.
So she's after
She's
they get a bunch of clothes for her at Goodwill and they don't check sizes, so she calls herself a short fat slut.
yeah, because yep,
Um,
because she has all these kids.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so, but she starts really settling in and like getting into it, and we love the progression there.
Yes.
And
Right. For
then the
sure.
school scene when she goes to
Yes.
the school because
Oh,
the
yeah.
boys won't take this Heitzman Schwarzschild test,
Right.
and it's because they're covered in poison oak. And the principal
Yes.
lady's like, they're faking it. And she comes in, and Goldie Hawn comes in, and this is after she's been humbled. Like she's like,
Yeah.
she's there, but she's still got her fire. You know what I'm
She
saying?
still has her fire.
This
Yep.
woman is like, your kids are unruly and, there's no discipline, and your husband's a big child himself. And she's like, I hear you. And then she goes over, looks at her kids. They're covered in poison oak. And she's like, excuse me, has it escaped your attention? And then like it's like the humble asshole comes out, and she's like, my
Yeah.
children are in need of medical attention.
Yes.
And you have the nerve, like she chews this woman out so gracefully,
Yeah.
with so much
Perfectly.
class,
Yes.
and sticks up for these children. She's like, they may be rotten, but they're mine. My
Yep.
husband might be a very large child, but that's none of your business.
Yeah. It's
And this is
good.
like the first time she realizes that she's loving these kids. She's like, I think
Yeah.
they're bright and sensitive, and
Yeah.
these kids see, they're like, oh my God, she's like sticks up for us. Our dad's never done anything like that. It's always jokes and,
Yeah.
let them do
You
whatever they
and you s
want. They want
yeah.
these boundaries. They want these rules, and they're just adjusting really well to this mom life with Goldie Hawn. While though, of course, this movie is, massive gaslighting, but
Yeah.
let's take that out of this because
Yeah.
let's relax.
Yeah.
1987.
It
Okay?
is. It's
Just
and
calm down.
but we everybody loves a redemption story. And frankly,
Yes.
this woman deserved to be gaslit because she was a massive
Yes, she was
asshole.
horrible.
She deserved everything she got.
It was
Okay.
for the best.
It was
It
for
was
the
for the
best.
best.
They started out like it was gonna be malicious, but then it was just
Well, it was getting even. He
get-backs.
was just
He's
getting the
getting
money.
even.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
pissed. And
Yeah. But
he
then
calls
it
her
does
Annie, and like that's
yeah.
the name she's using. Like that's the name he gave her, Annie Goulahy. And I bet that was improvised by Kurt
Annie
Russell.
Gooley. I bet it was. I bet it
Mrs.
was.
Annie Prophet. She's like, what's my maiden name? Annie Goulahy. But anyway, so they have all this stuff going on, and Dean's building this like miniature golf course, and she's helping with that. And then the guy that plays Billy, his best friend, was originally supposed to be John Candy,
Yep.
but he was filming Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and couldn't do it.
Can I just who is
But I
that
love the guy
guy?
that played Billy, huh?
Who what is his
He's that
name?
guy in everything.
I know. And he is the poor man's John Candy. I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
saying.
he's like
But
the
he's
off
so
brand.
good. He's so good.
He's
but
perfect. He's
but
the
he
off
is
brand.
he's Kroger brand John
Total.
Candy. Yeah.
Total.
But he's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's perfect for the movie. I
Yeah.
think John Candy would have I think that would have
Stole
been
the
too much
scenes.
like stolen the scenes.
He's too much of a star to be
Right.
in that supporting role.
We
Yeah.
needed the Billy that we got.
For
And I
sure.
love, and he's in like all those 80s movies
Yeah.
somewhere.
Totally.
And he's funny.
Yeah.
The kids are funny. The adults are funny.
Everybody's funny.
Everybody's funny.
The kids are so
the
good.
least likable character, even with Goldie Hawn being an asshole at first, is her husband, Grant,
Yeah.
who's
yeah.
in every 80s movie ever made also.
Oh yeah. For
He
sure.
was in Lost
Yeah.
Boys. Like he's in every
Yeah.
80s movie.
He's got that very unique voice, that
He's like
distinctive
plays
voice.
the cringiest man, and
Yeah.
he's really
He
good
is.
at it. He was
He is
really
so
good at it.
Yeah. Some people are just built for
and her
cringe.
mother
Yes.
is portrayed
Oh.
by the grandma and Who's the Boss?
Yeah. Lillian
That's where I knew her
Hellman.
from.
Yeah. Totally. And she's fantastic.
She's fantastic.
She's so good. Lillian
And
Hellman.
she's
is that her
so
name?
good.
Yeah.
But so the jig is up eventually. Her mother is like, "Where's Joanna? Where's my daughter?" And
Yeah, because she
Grant
keeps
ditched her. He ditched her.
Grant is more than happy to sail off in his yacht.
He's
off
partying
to,
he's partying in
with
LA
models.
and models
With
and all
models.
this stuff.
Yeah.
And spending and it's actually Goldie Hawn's family money.
Yes,
She's
exactly.
the rich one.
She's the rich one. Yes.
And her mother is like, it's been 2 months. Where's my
Yeah.
daughter? You have 1 week to produce her. And then so she's like, I'm heading. They had to go back to Elk Snout is the town name. And so he has to go back to get her because he's going to get
Elk
in
Snout.
trouble. And then when she sees him after all this time and she's living her life and she and Kurt Russell have fallen in love and it's really sweet. And she's so humbled, like even with her birthday, they got this champagne. She's like, don't, let's get some air outside, but let's grab the champagne. It's $7 a pop.
Yeah.
Like she's got it.
Cool. She's got it. She's down to earth. She's back
so
down
then
to
when
earth.
Grant comes to get her and everything comes back and she's like, oh my God, I've been Shawshanked.
Yes.
Woof.
She doesn't say
That's
Shawshanked.
Very
but
complicated feeling.
Yes. She's like, I don't even know what to do with this.
She doesn't know what to do, but she goes back on the boat as she has to. And she is like helping the staff like serve hors d'oeuvres. She wants to drink a beer. She doesn't want, she's just like this regular girl.
She's just regular now.
And she's got manners now.
Yes.
And she's got kindness in her heart now. It's like all of this stuff that was buried deep inside of her has come to the surface and she's a lovely human being.
Exactly.
And even she has apologized to her butler for being so awful. She's like, I behaved so badly and I'm so sorry. And he didn't even know what to do with it because he's like, it was going to be a cold day in hell thinking that she was ever going to own any of that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, she's got this beautiful gold sequin dress. It's stunning. They have the therapist is on board, like trying to help her and fix her. And he's just there to mooch off these people and play the piano and listen to himself sing. He's hilarious. But then anyway, they, Kurt Russell and the kids, he's like, let's go get mom. And they do. And then the best
because the kids start to fall in love with her and they're like,
they want their mom. We want
her. She's our mom.
And she's our mom. Tells the boat, they turn the boat around, they find each other. And then when he's like, you're going to leave all this behind for me and all this. She's like, oh, no, it's mine. And he like passes out in the ocean. Like, she's like, Dean, the boat, the yacht, everything is mine. And then the kids are making like these crazy Christmas lists. But guess what else she wants that she doesn't have that Dean can give her?
Love.
A little girl.
Oh, right. A little girl.
And that, I mean, it's a perfect hour and a half.
So good. It's tight.
It's tight.
It's a tight 90.
If you've seen it as many times as I have, you can watch on your phone some, and then you can do that.
Yes.
But also, it's just such good background noise. It's it's so good to fall asleep to.
Oh my gosh,
it's
I had a cold. I was like watching it in my
Jim Dandy.
Yeah,
as long as you have Jim Dandy to the rescue under control. It's good energy. Good experience.
It is. It totally is.
I think it's a perfect movie. The font, even at the beginning, is so like dumb that it doesn't even bother me.
I was going to ask you about the font at the beginning.
I was like, oh my God, look at that. Like,
I hate that font.
Simple font, but this is it's like, people think this is a simple movie and it's not, though. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Because it's,
and I'll never not watch it. If it's on, if it's in the middle of it, I'm going to watch it from wherever it is. This movie makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
And it's just so much.
It's the definition of a feel. It's the definition of a feel good rom-com.
That's actually funny.
But that's actually funny. That doesn't go too over the top to be annoying.
There's no cringe.
There's no cringe.
Except for the husband, but he's supposed to be.
Right. But and it's also like a really good redemption story. And so whenever the story is tight like that, when it's a tight, very clear redemption story.
Yeah.
It's always like, and it's done well the way this is done well. It just goes by fast and it's like, it's perfect. It's Gary Marshall perfection.
It is.
I
mean, it is like Pretty Woman.
Exactly. It's just like that.
It's just, he was really good at these movies. And I mean, this movie is top 5 ever and forever will be. I don't care what comes out. It's just always, it's always in, it's in there. I quote it every day, at least something.
I want those glasses, those sunglasses. How can I get those? How can I get those sunglasses with the flame thing going off to the side?
It's absolutely on the internet.
All right, fine. Well, we'll find them.
We'll find them.
Do we have, I have a little chick stop.
Okay.
Oh, no. Yeah. All right. So this is a chick stop that's going to sound like it's dedicated to someone else, but it's really dedicated to me. So,
this is a first.
I know. It's all about me. I'm channeling Joanna. So, it's really not. But so on Saturday, I had the opportunity to lead the little singers that have their little recital on Saturday. And what they do is they go and they sing with a band, like
Cute.
in a bar. Like the whole music
Oh, that's
school
really cute.
has all the teachers play the instruments, and then whoever like is a piano student goes up and plays piano with the band. If it's a singer, they go up and sing with the
Oh,
band.
fun.
If it's like a guitar player, they play guitar with the band, their little songs, right?
They play the
So
cowbell. They go play the cowbell with the band.
if they're taking cowbell lessons, right,
Sure.
sure, whatever. And this little 7-year-old that I work with, who I'm not going to tell anybody what her name is or anything like that. Don't worry, HIPAA laws here, people. She came up to me right before. She's the most confident little child that I teach. She is so amazing. She comes into our lessons and she is like, well, like she sings her head off. She sings her guts
She's
out.
ready.
She's
She comes
ready.
prepped.
She's got it. Like she's
Yeah.
got it. She's so good. She comes up to me and she's sobbing and she's terrified. And she's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And I'm like, oh, girl. And I was like, you don't have to do I didn't ever say you don't have to do it, but I'm thinking to myself, she doesn't have to do this. But she does have to do this because she's going to be upset with herself if she doesn't.
Yeah.
And remember when we were little and we didn't want to do things and we were so scared?
Mm-hmm.
So I just told her, I was like, hey, you know what? Are you scared? Are you just scared? And she's like, yeah, I'm scared. I'm like, I get scared when I have to go sing too. I really do get scared when I have to go sing. I'm like, and sometimes I cry.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just do it. I feel the fear and I just do it anyway. And then I feel better.
I throw up.
Right.
I mean, I get like physically like ill
Yeah.
when I had to like do a performance or stuff like that. That's when I realized my mom was like, you're not, you want to go be a movie star, but you can't even like get up there. I mean, like I push come to stuff, give me a beta blocker. Sure.
Right.
But it's just this, I think it's like a shyness too. I don't know.
Yeah. It's an interesting.
Did she do it?
So I was like, I'll just go up on stage with you and I'll just sing with you. So she's like, okay. I mean, this is 10 minutes of convincing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she gets up there and I start singing with her and then she just takes over and freaking goes for it.
Yeah.
And she's singing Taylor Swift Love Story.
Mm-hmm.
It's a love story. Baby, just say yes. And she's singing the whole thing and she knows the whole thing. And I just like slowly kneeled down next to her. She just needed a little hand holding. Yes. And I just want to say to all of us, this is dedicated to all little girls out there. Mm-hmm. I know that you can be afraid. And this is to grown women who are also have the little girl inside. Yeah. We can do things. We just have to, sometimes we have to ask for help. Yeah. We have to ask for help. We have to have somebody who can help us. And if we can be that help for other women, then let's be that for our women, because we just need a little help because, and it's that thing of like, your voice might shake, but do it anyway. Like you might be afraid and you might be scared to say what you need to say. You might be scared to get up there and sing your song. You might be scared to get up there and give that speech, but you know that there's something inside of you that needs to come out and you have to let it out. So if you need help, then get some help.
You need someone you need to have someone that you can go to, ask for help, and trust the instinct of that person for maybe a little bit of a nudge.
Exactly. Right.
In the direction of what you ultimately do want to do, which is to sing or whatever that is. Or
give your speech or be the CEO or whatever it is that you need to do, do a podcast, whatever. Right. Like, I mean, so I just wanted to share that little tidbit for our chick stop, just that it's not about me. It's about her, but it's like, but if we can be that for each other, I think it's so helpful.
I do too.
Anyway.
I do want to
so proud of her.
I want to add to this chick stop since we're talking about little girls. I want to do one for my niece. This is for Isabel. This is one of the funniest stories.
Oh,
I don't know if I've told you this.
I don't know.
So my niece Isabel is a strong, confident, darling kiddo. Okay.
Yes, she is.
And she's, you know what the best thing about her? She speaks her mind. And she is not afraid to call people out and create boundaries. She's 4.5, almost 5. So they had a babysitter. This was over the holidays, and their babysitter, Rachel, was calling, calls Isabel and Ian little stinkers. She's like, "Come on, little stinkers, let's go get our lunch and all this." And she'd said that a couple of times, and then Isabel goes up to Rachel. She says, "Miss Rachel, may I talk to you for a second?"
Oh my God.
And she's like, "Sure." She's like, "You hurt my feelings." And Rachel's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Isabel. Like, what did I do? I'm so sorry. What happened?" She said, "You called us stinkers. Called me stinker. And I don't like that." She's like, "Oh my God, I will never do that again. I will never do that again, Isabel. I'm so sorry. I just meant it and as a sweet thing. I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings." She's like, "Well, let me ask you this. How would you feel if I called you toilet paper?" And Rachel was like, "Heard." She's like, "Exactly. So now when I'm mad at people, I'm like, God, there's such toilet paper." It's like the new burn.
Oh my God, that is such a sick burn.
And it's such a sick burn. Like, what
How would
if
you
I
feel
called
if I
you
called you
toilet paper?
paper?
You wouldn't like that, would you? Because it's gross. Yeah, so are stinkers.
So guess what?
That's a 4-year-old. I mean, she's such
Oh,
what
that
a
is
badass little thing to
excellent.
do.
That is excellent.
Yeah.
That is
So,
so
I wanted to share. I'm glad I got to share
funny.
that
Oh, I
too.
love that.
And
I
how
love
very
that.
not Joanne from Overboard,
Right.
right? But
Yeah.
that's a proper way to say, "May I talk to you for a second?"
Yeah.
And then
Right.
I wish I could talk to people like this. I
Right.
just wanted to tell you that you've hurt my feelings.
You've hurt my feelings by calling me a stinker.
And then she's like, but she just waited for her to be like, she's like, yeah, well, and she just properly addressed
told her
her feelings.
Yep.
Like a tiny
And
little
moved
adult.
on.
Yeah, and then she was
Moved on.
fine. She's like, "Okay, cool.
I've
Don't do
said
that
my
again."
piece. No.
And I'm also hilarious and don't even know
Also
it.
hilarious.
Yeah, I'm
because
hysterical.
in Isabel's world, being called a stinker or toilet paper are two very, very bad things. No one wants to be toilet paper.
No.
Especially toilet paper stuck on the bottom of someone's shoe or sticking out of someone's dress because they accidentally tucked their skirt into their pantyhose and then the toilet paper.
Well, now we've gone to just everyone's worst nightmare. So, welcome to the Nightmare Podcast.
Anyway,
Anywho,
it's been wonderful chatting with you.
Thank you so much for chatting with me today, Angela. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Happy
if you haven't seen Overboard in a minute, I just can't imagine people that haven't. But if you haven't, do it.
I actually had to rent it, but it was
on
$3.99.
Yeah, rent it. I'm going to buy it.
Oh, no, wait. I think I watched it on Tubi, and it was free
it was on
with
Paramount,
commercials.
But you can watch on Tubi. It's minimal commercials, but
yeah, it's not too bad.
It's
worth it.
When you're having a Saturday or when you don't feel good or anything, like you're just wanting to unwind after work or whatever you've done for the day with your kids,
perfect for that.
Animals and whatever. It is such a great decompressing movie to watch.
It really is.
It just really is. Like,
yeah.
You don't finish that movie without smiling or being like, "I'm glad." No one's ever said, "I wish I hadn't watched that."
Exactly. It's sort of like it's like a little it's like a little piece of chocolate or like a nice piece of pie or
it's a gem.
It's just like a little banana split for your soul.
It's like charging your crystals. Okay?
Yes.
It's like a recharge. It's like a perfect reboot, and you laugh. You smile.
Yes.
And then you're like, "Oh, but it's from 87, so it's going to go well. It'll be all right.
It's going to be
all right.
It'll be all right."
I mean, I would have watched 8 of them.
Oh my gosh.
I wish we had so many sequels.
Where's the sequel?
But there's another thing about these are the types of movie that people remake old perfect movies, and I'm so sick of it. Like,
stupid.
Nobody's writing anything new. Write something new. There was that new Dirty Rotten Scoundrel movie that I refused to watch with Anne Hathaway. I'm like, why?
I didn't even know. Oh God, no.
I don't know what it's called, but I'm like, don't stop it.
No,
write something.
No,
don't do that.
Well, and also it's so. I'm sorry. I'm making too light of this, but like, is it really that hard to take a trope like a redemption story and just write a new story about a redemption story?
Just do that. No one's asking you to do There Will Be Blood. Okay.
No, exactly.
You don't have to write No Country for Old Men. Okay.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. No one's looking for another.
You can copy the formula of these movies of Overboard, Pretty Woman, stuff like that. You can copy the same exact formula. I mean, for example, a good example of that is that show Nobody Wants This that was on Netflix.
Yes.
Amazing little rom-com series.
Yes. So
original, but it's got the formula. we love it.
And
Okay, it
I'm
feels
not mad
good.
at the formula.
I'm not mad at the formula. The
We
formula's great. It works.
we like the formula. We like the
It
formula.
works.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
stick to the
Call me
formula.
simple, but the formula works for me sometimes, you know?
Math is math. Okay.
Oh, yeah. They can't all be Lars and the Real Girl. Oh my
No, they
gosh.
can't.
I'm
Oh my
still
God.
stuck on that.
I
I've
mean, it's
recommended
just
that to so many people.
you're never gonna not be stuck on that movie.
So many people I've talked to have been like, I love that movie.
That is an example of a wildly unique, feel good,
Yes.
overboard type movie.
Yes.
A little bit heavier, but
with just
packed.
uniqueness.
It's original.
Yeah.
Totally wild. I mean, anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, we could just go on and on and on and on and on and on.
Yes, we
Anyway.
could. Anyway.
Thanks again, Nat,
Thank
for
you. I love
bringing
you.
me to the podcast. I love you too. And
I hope
I'm going to go.
I hope you start feeling better.
There's just one more day of healing.
If you
and
don't
then I'll
rest, it's not going to go away.
I have rested like crazy.
Well, since you have a sick day, what got me through my bronchitis, and this isn't weird. Doesn't have to be a lot. Hot toddies.
Oh, I know. You mentioned that on the hot toddy
honey,
episode.
honey.
Yeah, I know. I got it, girl. But
Lots of honey.
I don't like to drink hot toddies in the middle of the day, even if
you don't
I'm
have to use
sick.
the bourbon, but
oh
same.
yeah. Oh. Well, I thought a hot toddy implied that there was bourbon.
Well, I am implying it because you have a sick day and it can help you sleep, but it doesn't mean you have to have like a shot of bourbon, and you could do like a splash. It just coats your throat.
Right. I know. I also sang on Saturday night, and that might have been a small, tiny, huge mistake, but I had to do what I had to do. I had to get through.
A living. We got to make a living.
And I had to go to that recital and help somebody sing. So
yes, you were supposed to be there. I do.
Anyway, okay.
All right,
Enough
I love
about
you.
me.
And please listen to this if you want to follow us on Instagram. We have a YouTube channel. Put your books down YouTube. I don't know exactly how to say it. I don't know all the hashtags, and I don't know the backslashes, but listen to us where you listen to your stuffs. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on YouTube.
Everywhere. We are
It's all in the show notes.
And it's all in the show notes, and also like and follow and share people.
Yeah.
It helps us a lot.
It does. We're really, really grateful, and we're obsessed with you. Thank you so much. I love you.
And to you, I say, Natalie, namaste, a falsetto child.
Oh, you took it. I knew you were going to do it.
I knew it.
You stinker.
You scoundrel. I'm a stinker.
No, you're not. All right. Namaste. Shit.
Are you checking your notes?
Yes.
You had notes?
I have so many quotes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Namaste. You snore.
I probably do with this cold.
Well, she says it in the movie, and it's funny. All right. Well, I love you.
All right, love you. Have a great week. Okay.
You too.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.